How unique of a challenge is it to try and not only contain Luka, but then also Derek Lively, that kind of the two-man game that they've developed rather quickly?
I think you didn't put Luka by himself, and regardless of who he's with, he's going to make those guys better. But Lively, obviously, a young, athletic rim threat, and those guys thrive with point guards like Luka that find guys, and obviously make it pretty easy for them. So, yeah, he's played great so far. Really complements the team well, and gives them added dimension to their offense.
Any more questions?
With Şengün, like there were a lot of big questions about how could he fare in the defensive end. Here you guys are, about 20% in the season, tied for first in the league in defense. How has he been able to contribute to the success you guys have had on that end?
I would say first thing, he's a high IQ player, and so that can bode well on the defensive end. He uses his IQ and being cerebral to his advantage. We try to place him in good situations, not put him at disadvantages, but more so than anything, him and the rest of the guys have all kind of bought into the mindset defensively to get better on that end. There's some naturally offensive gifted players, but we challenged him to buy in on that end, and they've been great. So he's kind of had the snake as far as that. But we've also mixed up coverages that help protect them some, and he's doing a great job with that.
How do you sell defense to young guys?
Winning. Talk about winning. It's obviously something that really impacts winning. You've kind of seen the results of being an offensive-minded team that doesn't guard to a certain extent, and so that part is good. But then also bringing the right veterans, Fred and Dylan, and those guys have rubbed off on the group, and so something that you preach to them, but you also are pretty demanding with it, and understand that it's a team thing, and you don't want to be the weak link, and so those guys have all accepted the challenge, and when they don't, I help them out.
How are those guys brought leadership this year, Fred and Dylan?
Yeah, just they do it in different ways. Jeff as well, even Aaron Holiday, who's been around a little bit, but some guys do it. For example, Dylan, it's every day what he brings, and the impact he has that way. Fred is very vocal, talking to guys, and then Jeff as well. But across the board, whether they're pulling guys aside, their daily routine, their professionalism, they all do it differently, but as a collective, they really lifted up the group. And so our guys are receptive, and they follow their lead, and really ask a lot of questions. But I think the combination of those guys has been invaluable for our team.
Dylan used that term today, getting out of comfort zone for defense, that young guys have bought into it. How impactful have Fred and Dylan been with helping the guys get out of their comfort zone and help them navigate that?
Yeah, like I said, it's who they are and what they do on a daily basis. And so, as much as we preach it, you have to have people on the court holding others accountable and buying into it. So they kind of led by example and understood who they've been throughout their career and what got them here with the these leadership roles, the contracts, and championships, and to some extent with certain guys. And I think everybody else understood when we hit them with the numbers how poor we've been in a lot of areas defensively, and how we really need to improve in that area to take a step up. And to their credit, they bought in on that end and bought into the unselfish offensive mindset that we want to have also.
When you cited Alfie's improvement defensively the other night, you said it started with pick and roll coverage. The coverage that you're having him in, how much of that is your preference, your philosophy, as opposed to just what works with him, that this is the right coverage for the guy himself?
I think they both are. It's one and the same. It complements him well. He's not an elite rim protector, so we're not going to have him sitting back in 2-on-1s all night. But he has sneaky athleticism, good IQ, and decent footwork to impact the ball initially and then stay beneath the roller. Obviously, I'd like to switch a lot more, but we're not going to do that with everybody, and Alpern is included in that. But for us, it's just what works best for him. But as much as he got the blame and a lot of the responsibility of defense last year, we really talked about putting the onus on our guards and wings to get better, getting through pick and rolls, and really pursuing guys so Alpern can get back to his. And so the credit to them as well. They've gotten better in that area and taken some pressure off him.
Is that your taste anyway? 10 years from now, will it, obviously, assuming he's not still the center, will it be that same kind of defense, or a good chance that it will be?
No, it's dependent on personnel. And in the past, in Boston, for example, I had bigs who could switch Al and Rob, and we did that more. But we're not asking Alperen to be that yet, and obviously he can improve in that area, but it also works with the guards you have. You have Marcus Smart, Jason Jalen. You have bigger guards, stronger guards that can guard bigs, and we have some slight guards as of now, height and frame. And so we just try to work it all out and see what's best for the whole group.
A couple of them think they're big anyway.
Fred's tough.
We've asked you before about the in-season tournament, but now kind of on the final, night of the knockout stage with a chance to go to Vegas on the line, is it starting to kind of set in that, kind of maybe the importance of this game or feeling a little bit different than a traditional regular season game?
Yeah, I'd say that for a few reasons. For what you just mentioned, obviously it's an accomplishment to win your group, but more so than that, we want to start playing well on the road and get a win on the road, and that's first and foremost. And we've had some close calls and some tough games that we've lost on the West Coast trip, and like to get in the winning column there. But guys are understanding what's at stake, and good challenge against another good team in our division.
What changes, if any, have you noticed in Kyrie's game since you and him were together in Brooklyn?
Obviously, he's playing with another ball-dominant guard, but that was very similar to when James Harden came to Brooklyn, so he took him off the ball. I think it takes a little bit of time for him to get used to Luka, I'm sure, and they've hit the ground kind of running this year more so than last year. It was probably more experimental at times, but he's whether he has the ball or off ball, he's really good, and obviously offensively, and that was very similar to what I saw in Brooklyn, where he understood who James is and put the ball in his hands and learned to work off the ball with Kevin as well. So very adaptable, and not a lot that surprised me on a nightly basis, whether it was practice or games that I saw him do.
When he was a little younger, what did you see out of Grant Williams that kind of suggested that he was on such an upward trend?
Competitiveness off top. He had a bravado about himself that you need to have to be good, and so I love Grant. The time we spent together, and invaluable for our team, and he's doing that here. It's just a bigger role and more of an opportunity for him to do that on a consistent basis, but he was integral to what we were doing in Boston, and the shooting was a big piece that came into the league not shooting as well, but I think those numbers were just due to a poor start, so he bought into that role, defended multiple positions, and I think he brings some of that here to Dallas as well.
Any other questions for Coach? All right.